Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. My name is Lindsay, and this is Life with Lindsay. Today we have a post review for you, but if you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Lindsay. I do mainly diamond painting and some other crafting related content from time to time, and I would love if you would subscribe, hit the bell, hop aboard the Hot Mess Express. Let's all be friends. If you've been here before, hi, welcome. Thanks for coming back. If you are unfamiliar with what a post review is, or you're new to my post reviews, post review is when I share all of my thoughts, the good, the bad, the ugly, on a canvas that I have recently completed. Something that I really pride myself on is being completely open and honest with you guys, because it does nobody any good for me to lie and say something was amazing when it wasn't, and vice versa. But keep in mind, things that are important to me may not be important to you, and vice versa. I'll go through all of those things with you here. This is Pumpkin Porch. It is a Hannah Lynn canvas from Dreamer Designs. If you've been around for any length of time, you know that I don't have the best relationship with Dreamer Designs. But spoiler alert, I really enjoyed this, you guys. So, before we get into all of that, this took a total of 13 days, and it was 53 hours and 6 minutes. Keep in mind, when I share how long it takes, it's not because I'm bragging or I'm boasting or it's a race or anything like that. I like to keep track of what I'm working on. I don't like to sit for more than a couple hours at a time. My legs swell, my feet swell. Do keep in mind, though, that about 15 or 16 of those hours were spent over a couple days. I just got some really good crafting time in with some friends, so I was able to finish this slightly quicker than I would have if I were just home alone. However, when we get to the bottom, I'll show you guys. I plowed through the bottom row of this so quickly, and there was a part of me that's like, girl, you're going to finish this in a week. That was delusion. Being Delulu was not the Salulu. Anyway, this is a 60 by 80. It is a square drill kit. It had a total of 64 colors, 2 of which are their Dreamer Dust, 2 of which were ABs. Let me just say, before I go into all of this here, Dreamer Designs typically, for me, falls really flat when it comes to the placement of their special drills and the way they render people. I oftentimes find that the faces and the hands are just super wonky, poor color choices, just all around like, why did you do that kind of thing. I love this. Now, Hannah Lynn's girls in general tend to have the harsher shading. I still think it could have been toned down slightly, but I think it's much better than it has been in the past. But if you look around, like, the foliage of this is really wonderful. So like I said, the landscape aspects of this kit were just unbelievable. And it's not just Hannah Lynn that I have an issue with the way they render faces and things like that. I just tend to do a lot of Hannah Lynn kits. So I'm going to show you guys the whole canvas here. So here she is. She's sitting there with her cute little cat. If you guys watched the post review for the Hanukkah kit that I did, I'll leave that up in the eye if you'd like to see that. One of my biggest gripes about it was that they used a white crystal, or 5200 crystal, which is really like a clear when it's in crystal form, on something that should have been done. I said, if I'm not mistaken, I would have loved to have been in a dust drill. They didn't have dust drills at that time, so an AB drill. The pumpkins in particular, they knocked it out of the park for me in terms of special drills. Like, the white and the orangey yellows here are just so well done. And then the depth and the dimension that these bricks have here are just chef's kiss. I love the final finish on this. I'm really happy with it overall. The drill field, the last Dreamer Designs that I did, I felt, if I'm not mistaken, that was the Hannah Lynn Mystery, which if you would like to see the post review for that one, I will leave that up in the eye. That kit was such a tight drill field that I had, at one point, I had to start to work from the middle out, because if I worked from the edges in, they weren't fitting all the way across. They definitely loosened the drill field. At least this one seems looser, or the drills are more consistent. But I just, like, I can't get over how nice this looks. And can you guys see here in, like, the lantern, they have the way they did all of the backlighting on this is just stunning. I'm very, very happy. If every Dreamer Designs kit was like this, I would purchase from them more frequently. Let me show you guys my trash drills here. Now, keep in mind, I am not someone who, I don't pick out every bad drill. If there are some minor imperfections on the top and it doesn't seem to bother me, like, I'll keep going. Sometimes I'll pull them out. I don't lay them out on a drill tray beforehand and go through them all. So if you're someone who's super particular about trash, you will have more than what I have here. I will say a lot of the darker colors, I had issues where the drills were clumped together. So for me, it was necessary to have a drill separator or grinder. You can see I had a bunch where they were still stuck together. A lot that were misshapen, some blobs, some shreds, some where they were just pieces of a drill. But overall, this is not an excessive amount at all. I will say one thing that really bothers me is that every single time I work on a Dreamer Designs kit, every single time I get concerned that I'm going to run out with drills on some colors. I don't typically run out. I have run out before. If I remember correctly, there was one kit that ran out of 2. I don't remember which kit that was. Could be confusing that with another company at this rate. But I feel like some companies give you like a substantial amount extra and others don't. Let's talk about the drills. Sorry if my audio trailed off. I had to grab. So here are the special drills. Let's go over those first. So these two here are their dust drills, and these two here are their ABs. If you're unfamiliar with what the difference is, an AB has that holographic coating on the outside. I don't know if you can see here. You can see that one's like catching the light a little bit. It does flip other colors. So this, you're seeing yellows, but you're also seeing hints of blue and pink on that as well. And then this is an orange. You see the same things. And then these two here on the ends, they have a matching mica powder. So you can see it's the same shimmer on the in the drill there. This is a mica powder that's in the drill. So this one doesn't shed. It's much easier to work with, in my opinion. It gives it a much more subtle sparkle, but I think there's a softness to it, and I really, really like it a lot. So of all the bags of 310 that were given me, this is what I have left. But I couldn't make it. There's sometimes, like, I have old Diamond Art Club kits where I don't even open the last, like, 2 bags. I don't need them. I never get to that point. But this one I had to open all of them. I don't know if you guys can see. Let's see if you can see the drills here. You can see some of them. There's definitely less in than others. But I had enough to complete the canvas. But there were some, like I said, there were not very many of it. There were some that obviously didn't have as many on the kit. I will say they've been getting better of not doing too many symbols that are the same symbol, just a different colorway. These are obviously far enough apart that I could not get confused. Didn't super love the, what do you guys call this? That's obviously an up arrow. And a lot of times I will also call this one an up arrow when I'm differentiating between left, right, up, down. But then it also feather or tree. I don't know. But these were obviously similar in DMC and similar in symbol. Putting them in the right place would help. And then again, this one and the dark version. So those were both there. But in general, I feel like there's been slight improvement with the excessive use of the same symbol over and over again. I don't understand how there can be companies out there that do 120 plus colors and they come up with these random, like, webbing looking icons and symbols, and yet they're not doing 2, 3, 4 of the same thing over and over and over again. So, I mean, I'm over that, but it's getting better? Question mark. But in general, the drills were nice. Obviously, there was trash. I'll put this back. And I would love if there was more consistency across the board. That's something that's really hard. When you're buying from a company and they're constantly upgrading and changing things, it's really hard to know what their new norm is or what their consistency is going to be if they keep changing it. I did that Hannah Lynn mystery in the spring, like May, I think. And I struggled with that so much, and I did that immediately upon buying it. I bought this one a couple months later and did this one immediately upon buying it. So, was it a substantial change? Did I just get better luck with one? Is this what I'm supposed to expect from here on out? I know there are people out there who they love the tight grids. They don't want to see any gapping at all. It drives them crazy. My thing is, I don't mind there to be some slight gapping. I mean, obviously we don't want it where it's like ridiculously obvious, but I don't want to have to fight for my life or to force drills in to make it happen to do a diamond painting. I don't want it to take the joy away from me. I want the process to be fun and easy and mindless and not like, oh, hey, I really struggled to get this done. So in general, I like the way this is better than I liked the way the last one was. But I was talking to a friend. I started down here at the bottom. And I started with this corner here. I shouldn't say always because I'm sure there's an exception to the rule. But I typically start on the bottom right and I work from right to left. And then I pull the canvas down and I work from left to right like a typewriter. And then I pull it down and keep going until I decide to switch. So I worked on this area down here to start. And I was just flying past it. I think it took me 3 days to get this huge bottom chunk done. Not the whole pumpkin, but a good chunk of it. And I was like, oh my goodness, if I'm doing that, I'm going to get through this right away. It slowed down as I got up a little bit higher. It's a color blocking dream, but obviously when you have color blocking kits, you have to change colors at some point. So let me show you guys the whole kit here. I will say I did get a new camera. I have not decided whether I'm going to be using my new camera, my new phone with a new camera for future recordings or not. But I will, if I haven't, I think this will go up around the same time that I post my final photo on Instagram. But if you'd like to see what a photo of that looks like with the new camera, go check out my Instagram. Everything's always linked down in the description. But she's just beautiful. And I'm super, super happy with the overall effect of this. I love the way this came out. I really, really love the way this came out. Sorry, I'm trying to keep the wire out of it's not working very well, but I don't know what Dreamer Designs did differently to make this an enjoyable experience, because typically I don't, but there you go. I don't have anything bad to say about Dreamer Designs this time. But I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, the glue was fine. The symbols were much easier to read. Whoever's doing like their printing has been doing a good job of not making it so hard to see the symbols. There was not a single symbol on this that I worked on that I was like, what is that supposed to be? Or really, really blurry or really hard to see. That being said, I do work with a light pad. So if you are somebody who has trouble seeing the symbols and you do not work with the light pad, I can't really speak to that because mine's always on when I work. But I love this, you guys. It is such a beautiful finish, and kudos to Dreamer Designs. I'm not going to go out there and go, Dreamer Designs is one of my favorite companies now. They need to show me a little bit more consistency for me to I don't know if I'll ever say that, but I'm saying this particular Dreamer Designs I found to be quite enjoyable. But if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down below for me. If you made it all the way to the end, leave me some fall-themed emoji to know that you made it all the way to the end. But again, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down below. My contact information is always available in the description box. Instagram, and I have my email address in there, so please feel free to reach out. You can always leave a comment. I am so insanely far behind. And then I actually had somebody one day say to me, they're like, it takes like no time to respond to comments. And like they were mad that I was behind. And I was like, yeah, it takes no time to respond to one comment. But if you have 50, 100, however many comments, and each one you are personally responding to, you need to be in the right head frame. Mind? What am I trying to say here? Frame of mind? Yeah, sure, why not? And it can be exhausting. Not that I don't love you guys and I don't love interacting, but I don't want to be that creator that just likes all the comments and doesn't respond. I want to be able to respond to them. So if I haven't responded to you in some time, it's not personal. I'm just getting there slowly. But that's all I got for you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. If you like this video and you'd like to see more videos like this, please make sure to give it 2 thumbs up. One real life, one virtual. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Come join the Sparkle Squad. And while you're there, hit that notification bell. I do not operate on any sort of schedule. I operate on toddler standard time, and I record when my tiny human is sleeping or sleeping. Thank you guys so much for being there. I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.